My name is Lydia Harrington, 69 years old, former professor of classics at the University of Chicago. Tonight, I am standing in a private elevator climbing 78 floors above Lakeshore Drive, and I have exactly $43 in my checking account, one good coat and 23 wooden puzzle boxes in a leather satchel that has traveled with me since 38 years of teaching. The elevator doors open directly into a palace made of black marble and silence. A butler named Graham greets me the way one greets an unwelcome ghost. He says Mr. Whitlock is still asleep. The child is not to be disturbed before 8. He offers tea. I ask for coffee, Black. He answers, "Everything here is trouble," and disappears. I am led into a library taller than most churches. Fire burns for no one. Books climb into darkness. Outside the windows, Chicago sleeps under fresh snow, beautiful and merciless. I sit in a leather chair that probably costs more than my mother's house did the day we lost it. I open my satchel and take out the smallest puzzle box, rosewood with ivory inlay. No visible seam. 39 moves to open it. My mother gave it to me on my 10th birthday and said, "Some doors only open when you stop forcing them." I still haven't opened it. Some promises we keep forever. 6 months ago, I signed away that same mother's life to a nursing home that charged interest on hope. I sold her house, my childhood, every book I couldn't carry, and still owed them $187,000 the day she died. They sent me a bill with her death certificate clipped to it like a grocery receipt. I paid the funeral with a credit card that now laughs at me every month. So here I am, applying to tutor a 9-year-old who has not spoken in 7 months, in return for $200,000 and a room I will never deserve. At 7:30 sharp, Caleb Whitlock walks in wearing grief the way other men wear cologne. He does not offer his hand. He says Latin, Greek, advanced mathematics. That's all I require. Thinking for herself is optional. I tell him thinking for herself is the only subject that matters. He almost smiles, almost. He says the child's last tutor quit the day she recited the entire first declension perfectly and then never spoke again. 7 months of silence since her aunt, Elena Whitlock, vanished on what the family calls an extended sabbatical in Europe. He says the word Europe the way other people say cancer. He asks if I have questions. I ask only one. Does the child have access to the rooftop garden? He says it has been locked since Elena left. No one goes there anymore. I say, then that is exactly where we will begin. He studies me the way a chess player studies an unexpected move. Then he leaves without saying I'm hired, but I know I am. Graham shows me to a guest suite, larger than any home I have ever lived in. I unpack 3 cardigans, 5 blouses, 1 black dress for funerals and interviews, the 23 puzzle boxes, and a photograph of my mother the day I graduated, both of us smiling like we had forever. I place the rosewood box on the nightstand and open the curtains. The city glitters below like spilled diamonds on black velvet. I whisper to the dark, "I'm sorry, Mama. I tried to keep the house. I really tried." At 9 o'clock, I walk into a little girl's bedroom that looks like a catalog nobody ever opened. Sophia Whitlock sits cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by untouched pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. Her hair is the color of midnight. Her eyes the color of winter lakes that have forgotten summer. She does not look up. I sit 3 feet away, cross-legged like her, because thrones are for people who still believe in height. I take the rosewood box from my satchel. I say, "Good morning, Sophia. My name is Lydia. This is called the widow's secret. It took me 11 months to open it the first time. It is yours now if you want it." I place it between us like an offering. She does not move, but her eyes flick to the box and away, quick as a heartbeat. I stand. "I'll be in the library when you're ready," I say, and leave the door open the way you leave a window open for a bird that might one day choose to fly home. An hour later, the library door creaks. Sophia stands there clutching the box against her chest, as if it is the only warm thing in the world. I do not look up from my book. I simply say, "Page 47 has the best speech." In Greek it sings. She walks in, sits exactly where I sat, places the box on the table, and stares at it like it might speak first. 10 silent minutes slide by like glaciers. Then her small fingers trace the ivory. Press, nothing. Press another panel. A soft click. A drawer no bigger than a matchbox slides open. Inside, a tiny brass key. Her mouth falls open. The first crack in 7 months of winter? She looks at me with eyes suddenly huge and alive. I smile the way my mother smiled the day I solved my first Latin sentence. That is only the first of 39 moves, I say. Shall we go somewhere brighter? She hesitates exactly 3 heartbeats, then nods, small, fierce, unmistakable. Graham unlocks the rooftop door with the expression of a man opening a tomb. We step into Narnia frozen in time. Snow dusts marble statues and dormant rose bushes. In the center stands a cedar greenhouse glowing like a lantern. Inside it is June forever. Oranges hang heavy. Jasmine climbs the glass. Butterflies that should not exist in Chicago in February drift between lemon trees. A small table and 2 chairs wait exactly as someone left them 7 months ago. Sophia breathes in, and her shoulders drop for the first time since I met her. I place the puzzle box on the table. Your aunt planted this garden, didn't she? She nods, stronger this time. I open the secret garden and begin reading aloud. First in English, then in Latin, while snow falls outside the glass like forgiveness. For 2 hours, Sophia works on the box in perfect silence. Fingers flying now, tongue caught between her teeth in concentration. Finally, every panel aligns. The lid lifts. Inside lies a silver locket engraved with a single letter E. Sophia's breath catches like a sob she will not allow. She opens the locket. A photograph, Elena laughing, arms around a much smaller Sophia, making bunny ears behind her head. A tear rolls down the child's cheek and freezes halfway. A diamond on winter skin. I close the book. Some truths hide because they hurt too much to carry alone, I say. She looks straight into my eyes and whispers, so softly the oranges almost miss it. She promised she'd come back. Her voice is sandpaper and smoke. Unused for 7 months. But it is the most beautiful sound I have heard since my mother called me my brilliant girl. The day before, she forgot my name. I reach out, slow enough for her to pull away. She doesn't. I cup her cold cheek. Then we will find out why she hasn't, I say. Together. And in that greenhouse, under impossible oranges, with Chicago 78 floors below us, a 9-year-old girl and a homeless old woman make the first promise that will change every life. Inside this tower forever. The lemon tree in the corner sways, though there is no wind. I swear I smell jasmine and the ghost of a laugh that sounds like Elena. 1 week has passed since Sophia spoke her first words in 7 months. 7 days of greenhouses and puzzle boxes. Of Latin verbs whispered to, butterflies and snow melting, into the cracks of a little girl's heart. Every afternoon at 4 o'clock, sharp, we climb the forbidden stairs to the rooftop, and every afternoon the garden gives us back a little more of Sophia and a little more of the woman I used to be before grief and debt ate me hollow. Today the sky is the color of washed denim. Crocuses have punched through the snow like purple fists refusing to stay buried. Sophia sits cross-legged on the teak bench, working on her 4th puzzle box, a Japanese himitsubako with 54 moves. Her tongue peeks from the corner of her mouth the way mine did when I was 9 and trying to decline mense without my mother laughing. She slides the final panel left, right, up, down, left again. 54 perfect clicks. The lid lifts. Inside lies a pressed violet, dry and perfect, and a slip of paper in Elena's looping handwriting. For when you need courage, little lion. Sophia presses the violet to her nose, even though the scent is only memory now. She whispers, she used to call me that. Little lion, I answer, because you are one. She slips the note into the pocket of her yellow cardigan the way soldiers carry letters from home into battle. Downstairs, in the black glass office that looks like the bridge of a warship, Caleb Whitlock watches us on the security feed. I know because the tiny red light on the greenhouse camera blinks. Every time he opens the laptop, I pretend not to notice. Let him watch. Let him see what happens when someone refuses to treat his daughter like a broken machine. That evening, I bring a new box. Black lacquer with 9 brass rings that must be coaxed free in exact order. I tell Sophia it belonged to a Chinese princess who crossed the Taklamakan Desert disguised as a boy. She grins. The first real grin I have seen, and says, then let's set her free. We work side by side. She conjugates amo, amas, amat while sliding rings. Her Latin is flawless, musical, the way Latin is supposed to be when it is still alive in a child's mouth. Suddenly, without looking up from the puzzle, she says Uncle Caleb says Aunt Elena is in Paris. I keep my voice soft, steady. Do you believe him? She shrugs a tiny movement. He lies with his shoulders. They get tight right here. She touches her own collarbone. I hide my smile behind the pages of Marcus Aurelius. The final ring drops into her palm with a sound like a coin in an empty wishing well. the box size open. Inside, a tiny glass vial of sand, pale gold, and another note. Elena's handwriting again. If you're reading this, I failed you. I'm sorry. Look under the lemon tree. Sophia's face goes the color of January snow. She whispers, there's no lemon tree. We both turn at the same moment. In the far corner, half hidden behind a towering ficus, stands a dwarf Meyer lemon in a cobalt blue pot. New leaves, glossy, healthy. Someone has watered it faithfully for months. Sophia runs. I follow. She drops to her knees and starts digging with bare hands, nails black with soil in seconds. I kneel beside her, ruining the only good coat I own. Under the pot, wrapped in oilskin so the damp never reached it, lies a child's diary bound in sky blue leather with a tiny brass lock. A key is taped to the cover, the same brass as the one from the first box. Sophia's fingers shake so hard the key chatters against the lock. I steady her hands with mine, old veins over young veins, and together we turn it. The diary falls open to the last entry, dated exactly 7 months ago. They're going to send me away. Uncle Caleb says it's for my own good, but I heard him on the phone. Get rid of the problem. I'm the problem. If you find this, tell someone I didn't run away. I love you forever, little lion. E. Sophia makes a sound I hope I never hear again. Half scream, half sob, all animal. I pull her into my lap, though she is far too big, and rock her the way I rocked my mother the night the doctor said, aggressive dementia. I whisper every comforting lie I know until they start feeling like truth. Later, when the stars come out and the city lights up like a circuit board, I carry Sophia to her bed. She clutches the diary to her chest and falls asleep still crying. Silently now, the way children do when they have learned noise brings punishment. I stand in the doorway a long time watching her breathe. Then I walk straight to the hidden camera in the hallway ceiling and look up into the lens. I mouth 3 words Caleb Whitlock will understand perfectly. We need to talk. Downstairs in his office, the red light on his monitor blinks frantically. He closes the laptop slowly, the way a man closes a coffin lid. Graham stands behind him, expressionless. Caleb says, voice raw, dig deeper on Harrington. Everything. Graham answers, I already did, sir. You won't like what's next. I do not sleep that night. I sit at the window of the guest, sweet watching snow turn to sleet against the glass, and I open the university laptop Caleb provided. I search Mexican death records the way other people search for lost pets. Desperate, ridiculous, certain of failure. At 3:17 a.m., I find her. Elena Marisol Whitlock, died Juarez, Mexico 4 months ago. Official cause, accidental overdose. No autopsy. Cremated the same day. A single line at the bottom. Remains claimed by Whitlock Holdings representative. I print the page. I fold it once, twice, until it is small enough to fit in my fist. Then I place it inside the rosewood box that still refuses to open after 59 years, because some truths are too heavy to carry in the open. At dawn, I stand in the greenhouse again. The lemon tree is dripping with condensation. A single fruit has ripened overnight, bright as a child's drawing of the sun. I pick it. It is warm from the way only living things can be warm. Sophia appears in the doorway wrapped in her blanket like a cape. She has not spoken since the diary. She walks straight to me, lays her head against my side, and says one word. Stay. I answer, always. And for the first time in years, I believe my own lie. Downstairs, Caleb Whitlock stares at the background report Graham has just handed him. Page after page of my ruin. Hospital liens, foreclosure papers, the auction of my mother's house to a Whitlock Holdings subsidiary for $1. The day after the funeral. At the very bottom, a handwritten post-it in Graham's neat script. She never asked for charity, only for the chance to teach. Caleb closes the file. He looks up at the monitor where Sophia is hugging, my waist so hard her feet barely touch the ground. And for the first time in 7 months, he cries without making a sound. Outside, the lemon tree drops another ripe fruit. It rolls across the stone floor and stops against Sophia's slipper like an offering. 2 days have passed since we found the diary, and the greenhouse has become a tomb again. Sophia sits on the teak bench from sunrise to sunset, staring at the lemon tree as though Elena might step out from behind the leaves and say it was all a mistake. She has not spoken a single word since stay. The silence is heavier now. It has teeth. I bring her oatmeal with brown sugar, the way my mother used to make it. She does not touch the spoon. I bring a new puzzle, a brass and steel cryptex that Leonardo da Vinci himself might have sketched on a restless night. I tell her, you set the combination to whatever word you never want the world to steal from you. She looks at it the way drowning sailors look at water, with hatred and longing at once. I sit beside her and speak to the lemon tree, because the child is temporarily not inside her body. Silence is a shield, Sophia, I say. But sometimes it turns into a cage with the key on the outside. She flinches as though I struck her. Then so quietly the butterflies almost miss it. She whispers, if I speak the truth, they'll send me away too. I do not move. I simply open my hands on my lap, palms up, the way you offer bread to a wounded deer. Not while I'm breathing, I answer. She studies my wrinkled palms for a long time, then places the cryptex in them. Her fingers are ice. She turns the rings slowly, deliberately. Littleilion. 10 letters. Click. The cylinder opens. It is empty, waiting. She leans her head against my shoulder and begins to speak in a voice that has forgotten how to be loud. I heard them fighting the night Aunt Elena left. She shouted, you can't bury this, Caleb. She's your daughter. Uncle Caleb said, she'll never know. No one will. Then the door slammed. The next morning Aunt Elena was gone and Uncle Caleb told me she went to Paris to paint, but her brushes were still wet on the roof. I touched them. The paint was still red. She stops, breathing like she has run a mile. I wait. She continues. I thought if I stayed quiet, maybe she would come back for me. If I was very, very good and very, very quiet, she would know I kept her secret safe. I close the cryptex, locking her words inside where no one can hurt them again. I kiss the top of her head the way my mother kissed mine the night my father died. Truth is not a bomb, little lion, I whisper. It's oxygen. We are going to breathe now. That afternoon, I walk into Caleb Whitlock's office without knocking. He is standing at the window watching snow fall upward in the wind. He does not turn around. You're fired, he says to the glass. I place Elena's diary on his desk like a loaded gun. Fire me after you read what your daughter buried under the lemon tree you planted to hide it. He turns then. His face is the color of old ash. He opens the diary with fingers that shake the way Sophia's did. I watch him read the last entry. When he reaches I'm the problem, his knees buckle. He sits hard in the chair that costs more than most people's houses. I slide the Juarez death certificate across the mahogany. She's dead, Caleb. 4 months ago, overdose, cremated the same day. Your company claimed the ashes. He stares at the paper as though it is written in fire. I didn't kill her, he says, and it sounds like begging. I paid her to disappear. $5 million and a promise she would never come back. She took the money and vanished anyway. I've had private investigators in 12 countries ever since. He looks up at me, eyes red. She was going to tell the world Sophia is mine. My brother's plane went down 9 years ago. Elena was already pregnant. Everyone assumed. I let them assume. It was cleaner. I let the silence stretch until it hurts him more than shouting ever could. Then I speak very softly. Your 9-year-old daughter thinks you murdered the only mother she ever loved. To keep your reputation spotless. Every night, she dreams you will come into her room and make her disappear too. That is the legacy you have built with your billions. He puts his head in his hands. When he looks up again, he is crying without sound, the way powerful men do when they finally understand money cannot buy absolution. What do you want? He asks. I answer immediately. Nothing for me. Adopt her legally, publicly, give her your name in front of the entire world. And the salary you promised me. Put every penny into a scholarship fund for children crushed by medical debt. Call it the Elena Whitlock Foundation. Let Elena's name save lives instead of ending them. He stares at me for a long time. You planned this, he says. I shake my head. Life planned it. I just refuse to look away. I leave him there, with the diary and the death certificate and the echo of a little girl's terror. That night I sit on the edge of Sophia's bed. She is curled around the cryptex like it is a heart she borrowed. I stroke her hair and tell her the story of Andromeda chained to the rock, waiting for the monster. I tell her how Perseus flew in on borrowed wings and turned the monster to stone with its own reflection. She falls asleep, whispering, "Will my monster turn to stone too?" I answer, "He already has, darling. He just doesn't know it yet." The next morning, Caleb finds us in the greenhouse. He looks like he has not slept since the world began. He kneels in the dirt in his $5,000 suit and speaks to Sophia, not to me. "I'm sorry," he says. I was afraid. I thought love meant hiding everything ugly. I was wrong. You are my daughter. You always were. I want the whole world to know it. Will you let me fix this? Sophia looks at him for a long time. Then she opens the cryptex, takes out an imaginary word, and places it in his open palm. She says, voice steady now, only if you never lie with your shoulders again. He closes his fist around the invisible word and cries like a man who has just been handed back his soul. I stand back and watch a father and daughter begin the slow, painful work of becoming family. The lemon tree drops another fruit. This time it does not roll away. It stays exactly where it falls, bright and unafraid, waiting for someone brave enough to pick it up. Outside the glass, spring refuses to be delayed any longer. Crocuses become tulips. Tulips become roses. And somewhere inside this tower of glass and secrets, a little lion learns how to roar again. 6 weeks have passed since the morning. Caleb Whitlock knelt in greenhouse dirt and asked his daughter to forgive him. 6 weeks of lawyers, paperwork, tears, and the slow, miraculous sound of Sophia laughing again. First like a cough, then like bells. Today is the day the world will be told the truth. I wake before dawn in the guest suite that no longer feels borrowed. Outside my window, Chicago is still wrapped in pearl gray mist. But the lake already knows spring has won. I dress carefully, the same black dress I wore to my mother's funeral. But today I pin Elena's silver locket at the throat. Sophia gave it to me last night. She said, "You kept her promise. Now you carry her heart." At 9 o'clock we ride down in the private elevator together. Caleb in navy, Sophia in pale yellow, me in black and silver. Sophia holds my hand so tightly I feel every bone in her small fingers. Caleb holds her other hand. None of us speaks. We don't need to. We are a chain now, unbreakable. Cook County Courthouse smells of old wood and new beginnings. Reporters wait on the steps like crows. Cameras flash the moment the doors open. Sophia hides her face against my coat, but she does not let go of Caleb's hand. Inside the courtroom, the judge is a woman with kind eyes and steel in her spine. She reads the petition aloud. Ooh, that Caleb James Whitlock be granted full and irrevocable adoption of the minor child, Sophia Elena Whitlock, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto. Caleb's voice does not shake when he says, "I do." Sophia's voice is tiny but clear when the judge asks if she consents. "Yes, please. He's my dad." The gavel falls like a church bell. It is finished. She is his, legally, forever, in a way no secret can ever again touch. Outside, the crows become vultures. Microphones thrust forward. Caleb steps to the podium someone prepared overnight. He does not use notes. Today, I formally adopt my daughter, Sophia Elena Whitlock. She has been my name, my heart, and my promise that I will never again choose reputation over love. I am also announcing the creation of the Elena Whitlock Foundation, seeded with $10 million, to erase medical debt for families broken the way mine almost was. The foundation will be administered by the finest woman I have ever known, Miss Lydia Harrington. Cameras swing to me. I was not warned. I feel every year of my 69 years land on my shoulders at once. But Sophia squeezes my hand, and suddenly I am weightless. A reporter shouts, "Miss Harrington, do you have a statement?" I step forward. My voice surprises me. It is steady, strong, the voice I use to command lecture halls of bored undergraduates. I have only this. Every child deserves at least one adult who will fight the entire world, so they can simply be children. Today, Sophia got hers. May every child tomorrow get theirs. Sophia buries her face in my side, but I feel her smile against my ribs. That evening, the rooftop garden is transformed. White tents glow like lanterns. Tables are set for 50, 23 scholarship children and their parents. Tutors from the university, even Graham in a soft gray suit instead of his usual black. Paper lanterns float above the roses. A string quartet plays Vivaldi soft enough that conversation can still bloom. Sophia stands between Caleb and me on the small stage someone built beside the lemon tree. She wears the yellow dress again, now with a crown of white roses Elena once taught her to weave. She holds the cryptex in both hands like a microphone. Her voice carries across the garden. No longer sandpaper, now honey over velvet. My Aunt Elena taught me that courage is being scared and doing the right thing anyway. Miss Lydia taught me that truth is the only door that never locks again. Uncle Caleb, Dad, taught me that fathers can make mistakes and still be heroes if they fix them. She turns to me, eyes shining brighter than the lanterns. You are not allowed to leave, ever. I feel tears rise, but I swallow them. I wouldn't dream of it, little lion. Caleb hands me a thick cream envelope. Inside, the deed to my mother's old house on the south side. Paid in full, taxes for life prepaid, and a brass key that catches the lantern light like a tiny star. Below it, a second document. Permanent lifetime seat on the foundation board. Salary generous enough that I will never again choose between medicine and food. I try to speak, but the words tangle. Caleb simply says, "You gave me my daughter back. This is only the beginning of what I owe you." Sophia hugs us both, arms too short to reach around us, so we bend to meet her. The string quartet shifts to simple gifts. Guests begin to dance on the grass. Children who have never seen a rooftop garden spinning with parents, who no longer fear the next hospital bill. I look up. For one impossible moment, I think I see Elena standing at the edge of the greenhouse, arms folded, smiling the way she did in the locket photograph. When I blink, she is gone, but the jasmine smells stronger than ever. Later, when the lanterns are burning low, Sophia pulls me to the lemon tree. She has hidden something beneath it. A new puzzle box, mahogany, hand-carved, heavier than any I have ever held. She says, "Dad had it made specially. 112 moves. The note inside is for you." I sit on the ground, not caring about the dress or age, and begin to solve it under the stars. Sophia counts the moves aloud. Caleb stands guard, arms crossed, pretending not to cry. At the 112th move, the lid lifts with a sigh that sounds like my mother's laugh. Inside, single brass key, larger this time, and a note in Sophia's careful printing. "For the woman who taught me doors only stay closed if we let them. Welcome home forever. Love your little lion?" I look up confused. Caleb kneels, takes the key, and presses it into my palm. "The house is yours again, Lydia. But more than that, this key opens every door in the Whitlock Tower whenever you want it. You are family now. Not staff, not tutor, family." Sophia adds, "And you have to live in the penthouse on weekends because I still need help with Greek homework." I laugh through tears that finally refuse to be swallowed. Around us, the guests have formed a circle. Someone starts to clap, slow at first, then faster, until the entire garden is applauding, the way people applaud when hope wins around, against despair. I stand, legs shaky, and raise the key so the lanterns catch it. "To Elena," I say, voice carrying farther than I thought possible. "May her name keep opening doors long after we are gone." Every glass is lifted, every child cheers, and somewhere inside my chest, something that has been clenched since the day my mother forgot my name finally lets go. Later, when the last guest has gone and the lanterns are only embers, the three of us sit under the lemon tree, sharing a single slice of cake because Sophia insists birthdays should be every day now. She falls asleep between us, head on my lap, feet across Caleb's knees. He looks at me over her sleeping form and says very quietly, "Thank you for saving us." I answer, "You saved each other. I only held the door open." Above us, the stars are fierce and close. The lemon tree drops one final fruit. This time I catch it before it hits the ground. 1 year to the day since the courthouse steps. 1 year since the word daughter stopped being a secret and became a sunrise. I wake in my mother's house, our house again, on the south side of Chicago. The bedroom smells of lemon polish and fresh coffee, exactly the way it did when I was small and the world still believed in forever. Sunlight pours through lace curtains my mother sewed in, 1973, and I rehung last month with hands that no longer shake from hunger. Downstairs, children's voices rise and fall like bright music. 23 scholarship students live here now, aged 7 to 17. All of them carrying the same invisible weight I once carried. Hospital liens, funeral bills, parents working 3 jobs to keep the lights on. The brass plaque by the front door reads, "Elena Whitlock House, a home for learning and healing." I pad barefoot to the kitchen in my old blue robe. Sophia, now 10 going on 30, stands at the stove in an apron that says "Little Lion, Big Roar." She is teaching a shy 12-year-old named Mateo how to make my mother's lemon ricotta pancakes. Flour dusts her nose like freckles. She looks up and grins. "Morning, Miss Lydia. We saved you the first one." I kiss the top of her head, breathing in vanilla and little girl warmth. Caleb appears in the doorway, still in running clothes, sweat cooling on his temples. He kisses Sophia's cheek, then mine, the way other families do without thinking. He says, traffic was murder. I brought strawberries. He sets the basket on the counter like an offering. Mateo stares at the billionaire in running, shorts flipping pancakes, and decides the world is officially insane, in the best possible way. After breakfast, the children scatter to classrooms on the second floor. Former bedrooms now filled with books, laptops, and the soft hum of possibility. I walk the garden alone for a moment. The dwarf Meyer lemon tree we transplanted from the penthouse now stands twice as tall, heavy with fruit. Every child who arrives here plants something the first week. We have tomatoes growing in old boots, sunflowers taller than the fence, and one stubborn rosebush a 15-year-old girl named Aliyah insists is her mother watching over her. I pick a lemon, warm from the sun, and carry it inside. At noon, the foundation board meets in what used to be my mother's dining room. We have paid off 187 medical liens this year. One for every $1,000 I once owed the nursing home. Caleb sits at the opposite end of the table, no longer wearing suits on weekends. He listens more than he speaks now, a habit he learned from watching me listen to children who had forgotten how to trust adults. Today we vote to expand to Detroit and Milwaukee. The motion passes unanimously. When the others leave, Caleb lingers. He places a small velvet box on the table. Inside, a new puzzle box, smaller than my palm, carved from olive wood the color of Sophia's eyes. He says she designed it herself. Took her 6 months. I turn it over in my hands. Only 7 moves, simple for me. Impossible for anyone else. Because the combination is set by a 10-year-old heart is stronger than any lock. Da Vinci ever dreamed. I solve it in 12 seconds. Inside lies a single brass key and a note in Sophia's handwriting. Now confident and looping, I pad barefoot to the kitchen in my old blue robe. Sophia, now 10 going on 30, stands at the stove in an apron that says Little Lion, Big Roar. She is teaching a shy 12-year-old named Mateo how to make my mother's lemon ricotta pancakes. Flour dusts her nose like freckles. She looks up and grins. Morning, Miss Lydia. We saved you the first one. I kiss the top of her head, breathing in vanilla and little girl warmth. Caleb appears in the doorway, still in running clothes, sweat cooling on his temples. He kisses Sophia's cheek, then mine, the way other families do without thinking. He says, traffic was murder. I brought strawberries. He sets the basket on the counter like an offering. Mateo stares at the billionaire in running, shorts flipping pancakes, and decides the world is officially insane, in the best possible way. After breakfast, the children scatter to classrooms on the second floor. Former bedrooms now filled with books, laptops, and the soft hum of possibility. I walk the garden alone for a moment. The dwarf Meyer lemon tree we transplanted from the penthouse now stands twice as tall, heavy with fruit. Every child who arrives here plants something the first week. We have tomatoes growing in old boots, sunflowers taller than the fence, and one stubborn rosebush a 15-year-old girl named Aliyah insists is her mother watching over her. I pick a lemon, warm from the sun, and carry it inside. At noon, the foundation board meets in what used to be my mother's dining room. We have paid off 187 medical liens this year. One for every $1,000 I once owed the nursing home. Caleb sits at the opposite end of the table, no longer wearing suits on weekends. He listens more than he speaks now, a habit he learned from watching me listen to children who had forgotten how to trust adults. Today we vote to expand to Detroit and Milwaukee. The motion passes unanimously. When the others leave, Caleb lingers. He places a small velvet box on the table. Inside, a new puzzle box, smaller than my palm, carved from olive wood the color of Sophia's eyes. He says she designed it herself. Took her 6 months. I turn it over in my hands. Only 7 moves, simple for me. Impossible for anyone else. Because the combination is set by a 10-year-old heart is stronger than any lock. Da Vinci ever dreamed. I solve it in 12 seconds. Inside lies a single brass key and a note in Sophia's handwriting. Now confident and looping. You taught me home is a verb, not a place. This key opens every door you have ever lost. Come roar with us forever. Love, your little lion and her slightly taller dad. I look up confused. Caleb smiles the way he smiled the day the judge said, daughter. The penthouse is yours whenever you want it. But more importantly, the house next door just came on the market. We bought it. For overflow kids. And for you, whenever you need to remember, you are not alone anymore. I cannot speak. He understands. He simply takes my hand, old veins over younger veins again, and leads me outside. The entire household, 23 children, their parents on visiting day, Graham in his one soft sweater, even the postal carrier, who has started bringing lemonade instead of bills, is gathered under the lemon tree. They hold a banner painted in every color of crayon the house possesses. "We love you, Miss Lydia. Stay, teach, roar forever." Sophia runs to me, arms wide. I drop to my knees in the grass and let her crash into me. Behind her, children pile on until I am buried under laughter and small, sturdy bodies that smell of soap and hope. When I surface, Caleb is filming on his phone, tears tracking clean lines through the dust on his cheeks. Later, when the sun begins its slow slide toward the lake, we all sit in a circle under the lemon tree and share stories the way some families share communion. Alia tells how her mother's hospital bill vanished the week before chemotherapy started. Matteo admits he can now conjugate Latin verbs in his sleep and dreams of becoming an astronaut. Sophia stands last. She holds the cryptex that started everything, now worn smooth from love. She says, voice clear enough to reach the stars just waking overhead. "Miss Lydia taught me that some people come into your life like puzzle boxes. Beautiful, complicated, impossible to open if you push too hard. But if you sit quietly and listen, they open themselves and give you the key to every locked room. You were ever afraid to enter." She walks to me and places the cryptex in my hands. "I don't need it anymore. My monster's turned to stone. You keep it. For the next little lion who forgets how to roar." I clutch it to my chest and finally let myself cry the way I could not at my mother's grave, the way I could not the day the bank took the house, the way I could not the night I thought I would die alone, in a rented room with $43 and 23 puzzle boxes. Caleb sits beside me and wraps an arm around my shoulders. Sophia sits on my lap, though she is far too big now. The children form a protective ring, some holding hands, some holding lemons like tiny suns. I look around at this impossible family stitched together from grief and second chances, and I speak the only truth left. Once upon a time, I was a homeless old woman with nothing but debts and memories. Today, I am the richest woman in Chicago because I own every laugh in this garden, every future these children will build, every door Elena's name has opened and will keep opening long after we are dust. A soft breeze moves through the lemon tree. One ripe fruit drops, perfect, unbruised. Sophia catches it before it hits the ground. She slices it with the little knife. Caleb pretends not to see and passes pieces around the circle. The juice is sharp and sweet, the taste of forgiveness made edible. We eat in silence for a moment, letting the flavor settle on our tongues like a promise. Then Sophia raises her slice and says, "To Aunt Elena, who started this by hiding truths in puzzle boxes. To Miss Lydia, who taught us truths only hurt until you say them out loud. And to Dad, who learned that being a father sometimes means letting the whole world watch you cry." Every hand lifts a piece of lemon. Every voice, young and old, answers. To family we choose when biology fails. I look up through the leaves at the first star appearing. I swear it winks, the way Elena used to wink in photographs. I whisper into the evening, so only the tree and the sky can hear. "Thank you for the little lion who roared loud enough to save us all." The children begin to sing, some made-up song about lemons and lions and doors that stay open. Their voices rise off-key and perfect, until neighbors 3 blocks away open windows to listen. Caleb leans close and says, voice rough with love, "Welcome home forever, Professor." I close my eyes and feel the weight of 69 years settle into something, light enough to carry, because it is shared now. The lemon tree drops another fruit. This time no one catches it. It lands soft in the grass and stays there, glowing. A small private sun for whatever child needs light tomorrow. I rest my head on Caleb's shoulder. Sophia curled against my heart, and for the first time in my entire life, I am not waiting for the next disaster. I am simply finally astonishingly home. And somewhere inside the old cryptex on the porch table, the word little lion is still locked safe, waiting for the next child who needs to remember she is braver than every monster the world can invent. The garden smells of citrus and jasmine, and tomorrow, above us, the stars keep every promise Elena never got to finish. I smile into the dark and whisper the last line of the story only I can hear. And the tutor who had nothing left to give discovered. She still had one truth left. Some doors once opened by love can never be closed again.